Okay, well, again, good morning. I feel like that's probably the safest bet with at least, Allie, Kara, and I being on Eastern time. But whatever time of day, wherever you are in the country right now, we appreciate you being here. And like I said, if you are registered and ready to listen about Fearless Beginnings, this is a webinar presented by Hey There Social Media. But we have a guest, Kara Kavanaugh, and Kara is also someone who can speak authentically to what we do. So we'll certainly give her time to do that. But ladies, we have a proven path. We want to talk to you about just the very intimidating journey of flexible work. We've lived through the pandemic. We know that flexible work is a widely used term these days, but hey, it's 2024, and if you're just starting to venture into it, then we want you to at least have some knowledge and some skills to at least make you feel like we said, it's a less intimidating journey. So, all right, Allie, you're going to watch our chat.
Yep.
And let's jump in here for the sake of time. So first of all, if you are on this webinar, we are hopeful and we think it's a pretty safe bet. You may resonate with a woman named Marie. So what you're looking at, again, maybe you feel yourself in this situation. Marie is here to explore opportunities because you want the professional fulfillment, but you also want that personal freedom. Full disclosure, my youngest is homesick today. So it's really nice to have that freedom to accommodate such things. We know that we all have talents and skills, and we put those to the max, to use every day as moms. But hey, we have a lot of other things that we can do, but we evolve. So that's something too. Like, I don't want to pick something that I can't evolve in. And then we also find out from a lot of women, Marie, as we call her, that she just wants to have clarity. So, you might be ready you've mustered up the courage and you're ready to move forward on a journey, but you just feel like, it's just a little fuzzy, and that makes you feel very intimidated. So again, as you're looking here, some of the challenges that we see every day at Hey There Social Media, we'll tell you a little bit about us on the next slide so you know who you're hearing from. But again, it's not so much a fear, it's just a feeling of not wanting to fumble, not wanting to waste time and money. And we might lack some confidence when our skills just get a little bit dusty. So there's things that you can do, again, with flexible work that will really help you evolve. And that's what the point of today's webinar is. Okay. Well, you've heard a bit from me, so maybe I'll just continue. And then again, love to hear from you, Kara. But I'm Emily A. Hay. I'm the founder and CEO of Hey There Social Media. And I ran Hey There Social Media as a social media boutique agency for a full decade before we really evolved and started to teach other women how to do what we've done. So I've lived it, I've breathed it. Freelance was definitely my method of work. But I consider myself a creative, a marketer. So there's a lot of skills that I've been able to put to use, and social media happened to be my freelance or entrepreneurial vehicle. Allie, my business partner, feel free to let us know about you.
Yes. Hi, good morning, everybody. And I want to thank Kara again for having everybody come to this webinar. My background is a little different than Emily's. The majority of my background is in automotive retail, and I was responsible for day-to-day operations across 3 states for a dealer group. And I worked with a lot of different marketing vendors, had some great partnerships, great experiences, but ultimately it did not lend me the flexibility, as you can imagine. And so knowing Emily for many, many years through marketing relationships, we decided to start working together around the pandemic and haven't looked back. And the opportunity for social media marketing growth is exponential, and I'm excited to get more women to be involved with it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Allie. So again, Kara, thank you for being willing to hop on this webinar and lead it with us.
Yes.
Gosh, I think we've known each other for a year now. So
I
please
know.
feel free to welcome everyone that might already know you.
Oh yeah, I'm so glad. I love every opportunity I get to chat with you, and to welcome anyone who's interested in taking a new career path, and diving down. I'm so passionate about talking about it. Emily, I know we've had this conversation a million times, but just a little bit about my background. I worked for a local franchise company for, gosh, most of my career. At the time I left, I was having my second child and my husband was traveling internationally. And so we thought, okay, it's probably best that I just stay home. And so, but at that time I was leaving as a community manager. So I really started at the time it was like 2010, and online social media was really just starting to gain a lot of momentum for companies, and so much has changed since then. Now I am so happy to be the site curator for the South Shore Moms, which is an online community marketplace, really, is for different businesses, and to showcase that, and to showcase all the people in the area. And so I get to do everything from social media content to email marketing to website, and it's all part-time, which is great. One of the things that I love about Hey There is that it is really a step-by-step guide to doing your social strategies, to doing your social content, because like what Allison said is, social media for businesses is huge, and it's just growing, and it's growing for people, it's growing for personal brands, everything. So it's taking off, and it's not going away anytime soon. So the more female social media strategists out there, the better, because let's be real, we know what we're doing, right? We are the social people. So
Yes.
100%. By the way, I'm realizing my screenshot of your Instagram is dated. You're well over the 8,000 mark. So congrats on all of your success and all you're doing for the South Shore community, because even though I don't get to, live there, we see your growth. It's awesome.
I like the picture.
Good. All right, ladies, we'll jump in. Okay, let's talk a little bit. Just again, we want to do a power half hour. We're going to make sure that you, like we said, if you haven't had a minute to read the articles and hear what's going on, we'll give you some market insights, just cut to the chase of where the industry is going in 2024 and flexible work related to it. We want to make sure that you see the credibility you have, but how to gain more of it. So we'll give you some action steps there. Community is such a widely used word when we live in an online virtual hybrid situation. I feel like there's a community for everything, but there are some real clear steps that you can take to thrive in a community, i.e. make a community work for you. This next point, we'll be talking about connecting yourself with success. So again, I think it can be overwhelming to say how to be successful, but if there's already success happening, how you can connect yourself into that success, and it can make anything a lot less daunting. We'll make sure to give you some next steps to take as well. Okay, Allie, I'm going to bounce it to you just to talk a little bit about what's going on in the market.
Sure. So as you can imagine, we do keep a very good pulse on what's happening with marketing, specifically how social media is impacted by trends. And currently, what is on every marketer's mind is what is going to happen as we go cookieless. As you may have heard, it's been about since 2020 that some search engines have started to go cookieless, but this year, starting in January, Google is moving slowly towards 100% cookieless search. And so by the end of the year, effectively, that will be at about 100% across search engines. And what this means for marketers is that they have been so heavily reliant on third-party data. So that little shopping cart that follows you from site to site that you go to, that's going to basically impact companies' revenue by about 30%. A cookieless consumer is about 30% less revenue. So what that means for social media is that first-party data, that one-to-one connection with consumers, is going to become even more valuable. So it's actually pretty good news for social media marketers. And then, everybody is also asking the questions of the implications of AI. And I think if you've kept a pulse on it, you'd know that, AI is not going to replace every marketing, skilled person on the planet. It's definitely a match made in heaven for social media managers, because it allows us to take the huge data that AI collects and use it as part of, framing content that we creatively come up with as we use our creative abilities with social media. So it really is just a benefit and a great relationship with AI for social media marketers. And then also knowing that moving forward, 40% of Gen Z actually uses their social media platforms that they interact with for search engines. So if you can imagine how that elevates the content, the keywords, etc., that we have focused for so long on an SEO on search engines is now going to be even more important on social media as people use it for search engines. So you can imagine with all of those trends that are going on now, that social media is even, I'm feeling it in different, in real life events I've been to lately, how even more critical and important and top of mind social media marketers are to companies. With more and more business leaders, as you can see there, 94% of business leaders believe that social media has a positive impact on their brand loyalty. It also, it shows you the behaviors that they're using social to consume, consumers are. And then really, there's this disparity where small businesses really don't either have the resources or the time to focus on a cohesive, holistic strategy for their social media marketing. So that really is good news. There's this win-win there with the demand for businesses to have a social media strategy in place with an expert, and also knowing that women drive most of either the influence or decision making when it comes to consuming. So we are positioned very strongly for this to be a very low risk, almost no brainer skill set to add to your portfolio.
Thanks, Allie. Okay, next trend here as we just give everyone the lay of the land.
Yes. So as our vehicle for being able to have flexible work, social media is obviously, as we just talked about, a great skill set. But then how we deliver the work in a flexible way is also mainstream now. So freelancers by the end of 2028 will be over half of the U.S. workforce will have some sort of freelance work that they're doing. There's a trend towards larger U.S. companies increasing their reliance on flexible workforce. And as you can see, it's not just, yay, let's go and be freelancers now. There's no major in colleges for freelance. So, Emily and I wrote an article about that. That's while the numbers are great and the data is great for flexible work, you can't just go with that bit of information and expect to be successful in the space. So that's why we know that, as you're getting into exploring flexible work, having a specialty is critical for your success. And knowing also that nearly 4 out of 5 freelancers are upskilling every 6 months to stay current is also, a part of the success journey.
Thanks, Allie. Okay, so when we talk about credibility and how to gain it, first of all, we're here to let you know what you should already know. You have amazing skills and talents. And, Allie and I live and breathe the word upskill all the time. It's just updating, right? It's taking what you already know and what can you build upon. So some of the skills that we see women that thrive in flexible social media management work, they're creative, they're social media savvy, they like to plan. So when we talk about being creative, whether that's visually through certain images or videos, it takes creativity, and it's a great outlet to be creative when you're creating content for a business that, to be honest, some people might think is either kind of dull. The business might be kind of dull, or they might just think, well, how would you even know what to talk about? Well, it takes a creative mind to do that. Social media savvy. So if you are on this webinar, you are social media savvy. You heard about the webinar probably on Instagram, maybe Facebook, but you are someone with a working knowledge of social media, and we can always learn latest and greatest features. And it's okay if, you spend most of your time on, say, Insta, maybe LinkedIn, or maybe you don't spend any time on LinkedIn, but Insta quite well. It's all transferable. It's all skills that can be built upon. But fundamentally, you might enjoy connecting with others. And that's something we hear too, is that a lot of times women say, I am thrilled to help businesses connect with potential customers. So that if that's a skill or an interest of yours, this is an outlet for that. And then, of course, I talk about being a planner, whether that's for your own life or if you're just someone who says, okay, before we get started with anything, we need to have a plan. We need to have the content strategy in place. What are we going to be talking about? Why are we saying the things we're saying? What's the best format of content to use? So a lot of those interests and skills can be put right to use when you're doing social media for businesses. So I did just mention upskilling. So here you go on the right here. We have our definition of upskilling. One of the things we're seeing, whether you start Googling how to upskill or what does it mean to upskill. Let's just demystify. As you can see, upskilling is gaining additional skills. So you can watch YouTube videos and upskill yourself. You can enroll in formal programs. Hey There has a number of upskilling programs. The thing to keep in mind, while upskilling is a very approachable thing and something you should do ongoing, businesses out there are saying, well, how do I know if this self-proclaimed person is an expert or if that person is an expert? So naturally, credentials are a way to differentiate yourself and how to stay ahead. Again, it doesn't have to be a formal university degree, but it can be something that shows I'm a lifelong learner. I'm constantly, curious and adding new things to what I've already done. And that can tell a really great story for businesses on a number of levels about the type of person you are. But again, this webinar is for people exploring flexible work. So if you are showing that you are upskilling and being curious, businesses can really appreciate that. Productivity, Allie, I know you talk a little bit about that. Go ahead.
Sure. So we see women coming in from aspiring to experienced into our upskilling program, one of our trainings. And a lot of the women who come in with some experience do so because of the methods and systems that our training allows them and affords them, so that they can become much more focused and efficient with the time that they're putting into their current work. So it really opens up areas of opportunity for increased productivity.
Thank you. And we have some specific stories to show you ladies. When we talk about it widens your range of opportunity, we have evolution stories. I just did a TikTok the other day just about when you move into any next field, remember, you don't have to do it forever. Upskilling has great benefits. Stepping stones are valid, and doing something without knowing exactly what all the doors are that will open is still, it has great merit to do something. This job security piece too, Allie talked about some of the stats with marketing in general. And what we see is that businesses are going to start requiring and seeing that their employees are upskilled and continuing to build upon what they have. So it can at least provide you, like another way to stand out, whether you go into freelance or a traditional work environment. Speaking of those stories, so you're looking at a slide here of a woman named Kimberly. Kimberly is an East Coaster as well. And Kimberly, she really embodies the evolution that we're talking about. So her quote here, she talks about being a stay-at-home mom for a decade. She didn't really know what this was going to do for her, getting into social media. So she started on the far left. I've got this specialty. I know how to do social media for businesses, and I know exactly what services I offer and how to do that. But then she started doing a little bit more into what I'd say is more digital marketing. Like one of her clients said, well, can you also do my email marketing? Can you also help run, my community memberships? So she was getting more into digital marketing pieces, and naturally that brought more revenue to her plate. And there's that adage that it costs more to get a new customer than to keep a customer. So Kimberly got really wise and got deeper into that current client rather than just constantly trying to find the next client and only do a little bit for them. And then where Kimberly is today, spoiler alert, she's been at this for a couple of years, and her quote talks about being 9 months in, but she produces podcast episodes in addition to social media for her clients. So podcast hosts need social media managers, and that's an area that Kimberly said, well, wait a minute, if you have me and you have your podcast producer, like how can I combine and learn what I'm doing, because I need to comb through all of that content for social. So like we said, new opportunities unfold. I'll talk a little bit about a path forward. So again, if you're thinking, let me make this fearless, let me be bold, let me be less scared of not having all the answers. Well, Nicole was someone who said, so I have this consulting and professional services background. She didn't set out and say, I'm going to nail TikTok and I'm going to figure everything out about TikTok. No, she knew, I want to work in social. I don't exactly know what that looks like, but I have this background. So let me upskill, let me fill in some of those gaps, how to create content, how to do community management, how to do metrics. So once she did that, she decided to take on some social media clients, again, very similar to Kimberly. And after doing all of the social media work for clients after a while, she said, well, why don't I just give the advice? why don't I just move into strategizing and consulting and letting the client do the work? So again, a path forward in evolution. And then she actually advanced into a more account management role. So Nicole, she's a real person. You can check her out. There's her LinkedIn profile. We gave a screenshot just showing her upskill certification from Hey There. Okay, let's bounce over to this concept of thriving in community. So as I mentioned in the beginning, it's one thing to be a member of a community. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I think I'm logged into 40 different communities at once, but how do you really thrive in it? So what we have are some action items. It's an active sport, as we say. So you can be a member of an online community and never log in, or you can be a member of an online community, log in, check a couple posts out, and then still not, benefit from it. So some of the things we see women in our community doing that's really leading to them being successful is leaning on people like Allie and I and Kara. It's not just about, formal mentors. It's about people that have done what you want to do, that are doing what you want to do. And again, community advice is a really great way to grow and benefit. Showing up for yourself. So I feel like we hear this in life, get the self-care in and work out. You got to show up for yourself. Well, in our community, one of the things we see is that the women come to online events. So just because there's 14 things offered, if you're not attending any of them, it's not going to help you. So we also talk about networking, who has time for networking, but in a virtual era, you can hop on a quick networking call and just learn through, we joke, learn through osmosis. So even if you don't have anything to share, if you're listening to other participants that are saying, oh, well, I really like working with podcast hosts, or I think I know someone now that you mentioned you're interested in this. It happens very easily. And I just don't want you to think that networking is this, got to throw on my biz casual and I've got to go physically to an event in order to network. It's a different sport today. Other upskilling opportunities we talk about that tends to come up in a community when we have a full library of, well, I mentioned TikTok, so can I learn a little bit just about TikTok, or can I get into how to do, tax strategies as a small business owner? Allie, I love this word, you say ungoogleable. Sorry, it's not liking that as a word, but can you talk a little bit about this?
Sure. Every time that we have either, one of our coffee chats or our huddles that we do, we see a lot of conversations that wouldn't have otherwise led to solutions for nearly everyone. And it's wonderful, even within the questions that are posted online, to see the women chiming in that you wouldn't maybe expect. And of course, Emily and I knowing most better than others, that sort of, you can't just type into a search engine some of the questions that are asked. Sometimes they're sensitive in nature. They could be confidential, client work questions. They're just answers from people you may not expect, and solutions that you just can't plug into a search engine.
Thank you. Yes. So again, logging in once in a while isn't going to get you that enriching experience. This part about your hard work paying off just by participating, just by being a part of the community. We see that not only do you stay top of mind for your peers, it gets noticed by business prospects. They say, oh, I see you guys mention a lot about so-and-so, or do you have any social media managers that know about this business? So your hard work does pay off, and it can be little incremental steps, and you will get noticed. Okay, a couple of transformations here. Sorry, I'm having ring light issues, but I don't think you ladies mind. So again, thriving in a community. So let's look at a couple women in particular. This is a very busy slide, but we just want you to see how different the backgrounds are of these particular women that came in and said, well, I know I want to upskill and learn, but I also am going to lean on this community. So, someone like Sanseri, who had that resume gap and said, I really just want something to get me back into working mode and into an in-demand industry. There's someone like Layla, who had a PR background, has a PR background, and decided to add some social media upskills to be able to do more for her current clients. And then Kelly's someone that had a background as an educator and has some experience in sales. And she actually, used social media clients as a way to bring in additional income. And she says here about things that she could do with her kids. So those are transformations that if you have this narrow view of like, this is the track, this is what I'm going to learn, and this is what I'm going to do out of it, you would miss, learning how these women's paths have really evolved and how they've transformed. And like we said, if you're not in the community, you just really wouldn't notice that. Okay. Let's talk quickly about this, how to connect yourself with success. So does any friends, fans of Friends, Allie, I know you love the show.
Yeah.
We talked about the episode when Rachel turns 30 and she says, oh, wait a minute, I'm at this point in my life where I know what I want to accomplish, but shoot, I need to like make a plan and I need to back into it. So have fun, go watch that episode. But we said, if you're someone who's willing to work the plan, you just need the plan. This is the plan. So at Hey There, this is that success framework that we talk about. Really, it's 3 steps. We have our start and our beyond. But this was Rachel turning 30 and like, this is what I need to do to get where I want to go. So when you're working as a social media manager and learning it, you have to know what services are in demand. So you're here on this webinar. I talk about content creation and community management, maybe doing social media metrics. So fine, you have a good sense of what the services are. Like that's what businesses need me to be able to do. But when you take these 3 steps of the framework, you need to learn how to deliver them. Like you might know what they are, but to deliver them optimally, deliver them in a way that's meaningful for businesses. So you know how to post on social, but there are different things you can do for a business's posts. I talk about you can be the best at community management, but if you can't sell yourself as a community manager, that's going to hold you back. So we talk about learning how to deliver the services and how to sell the services. And do not get intimidated by the idea of selling your services, because we talk about the second step. So part of this framework is, okay, well, I'm confident telling businesses what I can do because I've taken step 2. I've done the work, and a lot of the women in our community do it through a portfolio project. We have a lot to share about portfolios, and we'd be happy to cover that another time. But it is such a, there's no magic bullet, but it is such a key piece that you really start to, I'm learning. Okay, I'm doing. And then the confidence increases. You start to put together, how can I tell businesses what I can do for them if I haven't actually done it? The portfolio project is that step. And then really the third step is, okay, so I did a portfolio project for this business, and now I want to fill my roster with more of those types of projects. And that's what we see happen, over time with women that have gone through our particular program.
Exclamation point.
This beyond section. So just showing you, once those 3 steps of the framework is done, that's where you see someone like Kimberly.
I was like, shit, how do I respond?
Sorry, gals, I'm going to go ahead and
wrote,
if I can look at participants and mute someone here.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, cool. I think I got it. Okay. Someone like Kimberly, someone like Nicole that I talked about that just got going, and then they refined what they were doing. They specialized in what they were doing, and then they expanded their services. We want to make sure we talk about earning, because naturally, part of exploring flexible work is, so how do I begin to earn or know what I can earn? At Hey There, we have a whole earning guide that we've put together. It's free. It's on our website. I know when you registered for this, we have your email so we can send it to you with the recording of this webinar. But you're going to get this earning guide. And really, we want you to see that as an independent contractor or a freelance professional, you have unlimited earning potential, but some places to start would be, here are 3 types of projects that I can do. And how can I, slice and dice my client roster so that way I can hit my earning goals. So these are some of the factors that can impact what you can make in this particular field. There's no one set rate as a freelancer. So we give you some numbers here just to see if I'm working with one type of client or one size of client, what I can look at earning, and then on up from there. So Allie, is there anything you want to add on this earning guide slide?
Yeah. Just knowing that, based on your schedule, you can either, ramp up or ramp down. You can have a mix of whatever works for you. You can have 3 larger projects or 2 medium and a large. Just know that it's kind of like an a la carte menu, and you decide what's best for you. and you can plan, you know, maybe the summer months are busier for you at home, so you want to ramp down for that season. Again, just know that this, unfortunately, we don't have one answer to this question because every woman's needs are different.
Thank you. But yes, like we said, we'll get you that earning guide. Okay, as we wrap up here, ladies, so we want to talk to you about some next steps. So when we started this webinar, we talked about, we've gotten to know Kara over the last year. So Hey There Social Media, we have 2 primary upskilling programs. And the one you're looking at right now, our very busy slide, is the one that we got to meet Kara and a lot of the site curators with the Local Moms Network. So this is what we call core training. This is Hey There's signature 6-week program that women like Nicole, like Kimberly, jump in and they say, I'm going to learn how to do social media for businesses. I'm going to be held accountable for a portfolio project. I'm going to feel confident enough and have the know-how to go and prospect for myself. So if you're a color-coded gal, you'll notice the top section, the coral modules, are more operations and business freelance related, while the turquoise modules are really your social media specialty. So we've had the question, if I get into this program, will I also learn freelance? The short answer is yes. In order to be able to have a specialty, you need to go how to be able to put it to market. So we teach you that. There's a lot of details on the right, but we just want you to know at a high level, this is something that we teach online. We teach it live on Zoom. We give you the recordings. We know a lot of women are all about, I got to show up live. I'm committing to this. I'm going to be here and I want to hear it live. But have no fear, we will give you the recordings afterwards. And we joke about once the program's done, that's where I talk about community. So Hey There has this community of women that some of the women have gone through the program. Some of the women have not because they might be social media managers already. But this is a program that you will immediately be put into this community around your peers and be able to lean on Allie and I and other members of our team as mentors. So that's core training. We talk about core training. And then we also have what we call core training light. So that's actually what these boxes are, behind me. Core training light was our response to women saying, how can I dip my toe in the water? Is there a self-paced version? So this box is literally shipped to your house. You get all of our online curriculum that we teach in core. It's just in a hard copy manual that you can read as you go. You can still come to our community and ask any questions, and you will also have the ability to get the certification. So I did throw, I need to update this. I've got a promo code here that is for Kara. So let me go ahead and update this. Sorry, ladies. This is Kara's South Shore Moms, SS Moms, and that's going to get you, your free shipping and your discount on core training light. Allie, you and I were pontificating one day about wisdom. What's the difference between knowledge and wisdom? So I think that's something that we see a lot of women going into this and just feeling overwhelmed by looking into flexible work. And so I think by having all the facts, by having knowledge, we think we'll know what to do. But eventually you have to bridge that gap and say, I need to know what to do with the facts that I have. So we'll leave you with that. I mean, I have another slide here. I'll just make sure you have Kara's promo code again. Kara, any thoughts as we've gone through this?
Lots of them actually. First of all, like some of the data you gave us at the beginning, Allie, was great. I'm thinking like, wow, I need to update my media kit for my current clients and prospective clients.
Awesome.
I can just say as a social media manager or community manager back in the day for a brand, yes, it's always evolving the scope of work. And so to upskill, I mean, that's something that I'm like, okay, what can I do to give myself the more knowledge of all the things that are going on. I don't know everybody's background here, but I can just say I'm a 40-year-old mother of 2. I stay at home. I had a career, I had a background, I have an education, I know what's going on, but I'm very fortunate to be able to stay home with my kids. But you know, this fall will come a time where both my kids are in school and I'm already thinking about my next steps. It's like, okay, what can I do? Because I have this drive and I have this need to go back out and continue my career. And do I want to freelance, become a freelancer full time? Do I want to take my education and go work for a business? But it's kind of hard. You know, I'm looking at some of these social media coordinators and manager positions, and I'm like, geez, I'm going up against, you know, Gen Z who lives on their phone, and, you know, I don't want TikTok, but I've got to learn it because I do have that strategy piece to it. It's like, okay, well, I've got the knowledge, I've got the experience. So what can I do to make myself more attractive to people looking to hire a social media coordinator, strategist, manager, whatever it may be. So having this community here is vital for my success. Having the people to lean on and to talk to and say, okay, what is this all about? Because it's really, that's what's going to give me that. I don't know if people still use that word clout, but that was something we used. I used the word clout a lot, you know, 10 plus years ago. So see, it's helpful. So, anyway, I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has. You know, but that's just a little background of me and my thoughts on all of this. So
Thank you, Kara. You connected some amazing
Thank you
dots.
so
Yes,
much.
there's,
Yeah.
I love that you're planning ahead too. These next slides, just as we wrap up, again, we want to thank everyone for their time, but this QR code will take you right to our site. Again, Kara, thank you for being so generous and having a link right in your link tree on Instagram to take you over. This will take you right to that core training light, you know, the upskilling in a box program. If you want to join our community, we have free memberships, so you can dip your toe in the water. So heading over to Hey There's site today, like you can go right to memberships and say, I want the free access and be in the community. You'll be able to see the things we talk about. If you are interested in doing the signature program, our next step with you is to have a call. You know, we want you to tell us about you, you know, tell us, what are you looking to do? What is your background? We know we've had women absolutely jump right into core training light without a second thought. But if you're considering core training, not only will we let you apply anything you spend on light to core training, we just know that it's a bigger step to consider, and we are here to help you with that. So thank you again, Kara, for being involved. We've got your promo code, we've got your QR code. And really, I'll take a quick minute to head to chat, see if anything else has come over there.
Nope.
But we wanted to make it a power half hour. Thanks for rolling with us, ladies. Emily, I see you're on here. Shauna, thank you so much.
thank you.
Okay, and if there's nothing
Thank
in
you.
chat, we will make sure to get the recording out to everyone after. And have a great Wednesday.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Kara.
Thanks,
ladies.
Kara.
Good to see
Thanks,
you.
Allie. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.